can you hear us?
Yeah.
Oh, hello. How are you today, Lynn? You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks.
Excellent, excellent. We've got a few more people coming in. God, it's like a big party. I should have got drinks and stuff. Let me let somebody else in. I'm just going to let Sophie in now. God, it's getting busy. Hiya, Sophie.
I wanted to join in.
That's all right. So Sophie's part of my team.
Okay.
So she's a contractual obligation to join in. If she's not.
I mean, no. I just was like, I'll have some interaction.
So you can see some of the faces.
Yeah. So we've got there are 5 of us on the call so far. We've still got a few minutes to go. There were 19 registered. So let's see who turns up.
Do you want me to turn my audio off, or are you going to do that?
You're all right for the moment, but I think once we get started, I'm going to ask everyone to kind of mute and then kind of ask questions in the side or unmute as they want to speak, because otherwise it's going to get noisy.
Yeah. Just be a lot of talking over each other.
Yeah.
How do you mute? Oh yeah, I got it. Ignore me.
So we've got somebody else joining in now, Fiona. Well, it's like being on TV. She's just connecting. This is all very exciting.
I know.
Hi. She's still coming in. I think her audio's still fixing. Hi, Fiona. Can you hear us?
I can indeed. Thank you.
Excellent. Fantastic. Welcome on to the call. I'm going to say our next caller is Richard Sykes, who's just come in. I'm going to let Richard in now. This is all really cool. I'm very excited. Hi, is that Richard? Richard, can you hear us? Oh, he's gone on mute. That's okay. Cool. So we've got
put something on our story.
Yeah. So Sophie may kind of do bits and pieces while we're working, just so we can see. Cool. Okay, so Fadila can hear us. Oh, she's from So Fadila's is in Morocco, in Casablanca. Wow.
Wow.
Wow, international callers. Wow, that is cool. Right, okay. Richard, can you hear us? Can you send us a message or unmute and say hello?
Hello.
Oh, hi, Richard. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Whereabouts are you, Richard?
I'm in sunny Leeds in the north of England.
Oh, Leeds. Oh, not. We've got somebody on from Morocco. I was hoping you were going to say you were from Morocco as well, but never mind. That's okay.
I could pretend I'm in somewhere more exotic if you like.
Yeah, well, that's why I've got the Northern Lights behind me. Look.
Ah, yeah, cool.
So, what is it you do, Richard, when you're not at home?
I'm an accountant by trade, so
right.
I run my own sort of small business accountancy practice, helping out. Yeah, the owner-managed small business owners of this world who are no doubt very worried and under a lot of strain and stress at the moment to create a better life for themselves. So I'm going to be all hands to the pumps over the coming weeks and months, which is cool.
No, absolutely.
I've still got time to hang out with you guys on this, so no worries.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I'll say to everybody. Obviously, if you feel like you want to connect and you want to share your contact details, just put them in the group chat, and then everyone, if you're happy to share your contact details, then they're in there. I'm not going to share them. I know I've got them, but I'm not going to share them. I'll leave that up to you. If you really want to share your details, then feel free to do that in the group chat, and then everyone will have access to your details. I've got somebody else coming in now, so I'm just going to let Claire Muir in. Blimey. The screen's getting busier.
Love it.
It's ace, isn't it?
Yeah.
So audio's just coming online. Hi, Claire.
Hi.
Hello. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly, yes. Where are you from, Claire?
From Leeds Beckett University.
Beckett. Cool. Oh, we're getting a good group of people on. This is really good.
I think I've just lost you somehow.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but I've just lost you. I've just lost your face. Let me. There you are. You're back.
That's the worst thing. That's the downside of it all. Okay, so we're on 12:32 now, so I'm going to start, and then if new people want to join, if new people come in, I'll just put them in. So if you could just a little bit of process. I know some of you are muted already. If you're not already muted, if you could just mute yourself, and then if you want to ask a question, hang on, somebody else is coming in. I'll start that again. Just let Joe come in, and I'll start that again, and then we'll come in. Hi, you Joe, can you hear us?
Yes, thank you.
I can just about grab you. Yeah, that's cool. So we're just about to start now. If anyone does want to share their contact details, and if they do that in the group chat element of it, which is just at the side, you should be able to, if you hover over the bottom of your screen, you should see a little box that says chat, and you should be able to access the chat there. So I've just put a message to everyone, leave details here. So if you do want to share your details, feel free to do it in there. I'm not going to share all your details. I'm going to leave it up to you. If you want to share your details, then that's your call. I'm not going to break GDPR or whatever it is. So once I start, I'm going to start now. If you could just, Claire and Joe, if you could just pop yourself on mute. Then if you do have a question, it's probably easier if you put it into the group chat element of it, just so that I can manage it all. Because if we all talk at once, this is going to collapse and it won't be any use to anybody. Is that all okay? I'm taking it as a yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. So I'm now going to share screen. So this is the first kind of bit of this is the first test. So let's see if this will work. Share screen. Okay. So hopefully you can all see my LinkedIn profile. Cool. Sophie says she can see it. Anyone shout up if they can't see it. Other than that, I'm going to assume that you can. Okay, I'm just going to fiddle with that down there. Okay, cool. So obviously this is the standard LinkedIn profile. I'm going to start from the home page. So this is where you would normally come in. So you can see down here your details, the kind of central panel where the information goes. Today's news and ads comes at this in this side panel. If at any point I'm going too fast, just drop a message in the chat thing, and I will try my best to kind of slow down and answer any questions you've got. So where are we going to start? So one of the key things in LinkedIn is your profile. Now I know I'm pretty sure you've all got LinkedIn profiles, but I'm just going to kind of just go over some of the key elements to ensure that you get those kind of things right. So obviously the first thing is to get a nice clear picture. I'm assuming you've all got a really nice clear picture, but if you've got a picture which is of you drunk in a nightclub somewhere or with your arm around your best friend, then please change it. If you can get a professional photograph, that's great. If you can't, just get one that's a nice kind of isolation of you so that you can see. Sorry, I shouldn't use isolation, should I? But get a picture of you that people can see and recognize it, that it's you, and make sure it's kept up to date as well. If you've got a picture on from 30 years ago and I meet you and I'm going to go, well, you're not the same person. So don't refresh it every day all the time, but make sure it's up to date enough. Just a second, somebody is in the chat. All right, cool. Oh, you're all sharing your LinkedIn profiles. That's fantastic in the chat. That's great. I'm just going to try and work out where I put that. So yeah, so that's one of the key things, is make sure that you've got a nice clear photograph. I have a branded image at the back here that all our team use. You don't have to have that, but it does enhance your profile if you have got that. The second and one of the most important elements is your title here. So LinkedIn has got its own kind of search engine that we can see at the top here. That is kind of really key. It works really strongly on your job title that you put in there. So if your job title just says leader or business owner or manager or whatever, it's not actually doing you any favors. And that's because when people are searching using this top search bar up here, they'll put it in here, and they will put in a title which could be, I'd say I want a marketing manager. Now, obviously, I'm searching in marketing manager, and I'm going to click on the marketing manager in people, and this is going to show me connections or second connections who have got marketing manager or marketing or manager, not necessarily doesn't have to be together, it's just within their title, so that I can find those people. If your title is just leader or manager or SEO or whatever other broad title it could be, it actually does you no favors at all in terms of getting found. And LinkedIn is one of the best ways to find a supplier. If I want to find a supplier, I will go to LinkedIn. We've recently done this when we needed some virtual assistants. And Sophie's on the call. She did some searching to try and find virtual assistants via LinkedIn. If virtual assistant wasn't in their title, either together or in some sort of form apart, we would really struggle to find them. So it's really, really key that you get your job title correct for what you want to be found for. So obviously I've got marketing in my title, so I will get found for marketing. I also, there's a little thing you can do to tweak your actual URL. So if you can see my URL, it's not my name, it's linkedin.com/in marketing consultant leads. That actually also helps me to be found in the search. The next element down from that is all the other sections. So the about me section, which I'm just going to click and show you how it edits. So this talks about me, about my job, what I do, and gives my core skills and strengths, and a clear way to contact me. Look, I've got my phone number in there, my email, the website, and a little bit about me at the bottom as well. So a little bit of personality, less about the business part of that side. So that when somebody finds me, they can see, okay, so I found Richard. What does he do? Ah, yes, he's the perfect person for what I want. Or actually, no, I was looking for a plumber and he's not the right person. In which case, you've given them a really clear indication. The next elements down are looking at the featured section. So in here, I've got a link to the YouTube video of my social media masterclass. That gives a testimonial for what I do. So you can click straight into that. You can go to YouTube and watch that. And also there's a link here. It says to join us on a social media masterclass. Link here, and that takes you a link straight through to my website. So this could be a key piece of information. Maybe you've got a showcase on what your office does or what your services are, or this one's a video, but it could equally be a web page or a document or any of these things. So you can add different posts that you've posted on LinkedIn. You can link to articles on LinkedIn. You could link to any web content here, or you can even upload presentations or documents or anything into this element. So this is a really key place for you to shine and show your credentials as a person in here. Obviously, if you're leading a business or you're business driven, then you should be relating elements that you've done for the company to kind of show off their standards and what they can do. However, if you're using this as a personal thing, so you want to help search for a job or find new opportunities because you may be a freelancer or whatever, use this area to kind of highlight your experience, your CV, what kind of projects you've worked on. This is really key and really, really useful when somebody finds you. And further down, the next elements are the kind of the experience, and you should fill these in as much as you can. Don't necessarily go back to all your school days, but make sure it's quite complete. As you can see, I go back. How far do I go back? Wow, I go back right to 1997. When I worked in Rotherham at a holiday company. So yeah, I've got it pretty extensive. Put in extra experience, so your education and any volunteering work you might have done. The skills is not such a highly used thing, because this is all a bit weird. People used to just kind of endorse you for things you'd never done or you'd never spoken to them. However, this element here, the recommendations, is really, really key. And the really reason that this is key is because people have had to take the time. So Gemma, who's one of our suppliers, she took the time to actually write a full-on recommendation. She didn't just tick a box. It's something she's written, so it comes from the heart, so it means more. So if you can get actual proper recommendations, then I would definitely go for those, again, for the business and for you personally, if that's at all possible. The final element is interest, and that's kind of a bit of a by the by, really. It doesn't really tell you that much, but it might tell you a little bit about the person and the kind of thing they follow. So just before I go any further, has anybody got any questions that they'd like to highlight in the chat, or you'd like to unmute and put your hand up, and have you got any questions about that? Okay, I'll take that silence as a no. That's fine. I'm just going to check that we've not got anyone still waiting to come in. Yep. Okay. Okay. So the next element that I want to look at is being able to build up your following, and this has a knock-on effect to potentially to business pages. So again, one of the most powerful tools in LinkedIn is the search. So from a search point of view, we can go in and look for, let's say that I want to work with marketing directors, because obviously those are the people who are potentially my clients. So I want to speak to marketing directors so that I can give them a hand. So I actually want to put just in director, and I'm looking for marketing director in people. So that's really key. If I'm looking for jobs, I'll put in jobs. If I'm looking for in groups, I'll do that. But I'm looking for people. I want to connect directly to people. So I've now put that in people, which shows me all the marketing directors that are available to me in my profile. But actually, what I want to do is I want to first of all target these people in Leeds. So I've clicked on the locations tab up there, and I'm going to type in Leeds. And select just Leeds, United Kingdom, and click apply. And now this is showing me people who are in Leeds, who are in the right position. But I want to ensure that I'm making new connections. So of all this list, this search will show everyone I'm connected to. So it will already show first connections. So actually, for this point of view, I want to start making new connections. So I'm going to click on connections second. So this is people I'm not connected to, but they might be connected to me. So now by looking for new connections, I can see, as you can see, I've done this search quite a lot already. You can see I've kind of invited people. So now I look through and I find people who I think are working for the right kind of business that I want to work for. So let's say Leslie Perez, and I'm not going to click into a profile because that might be a GDPR issue again. But let's say that I've clicked on her profile, found that she's the right person that I want to connect to. So then obviously I just press connect, and this is the opportunity where you can either send just a blank invitation, or if you've done a little bit of research, you can click and send some personalized information. If you do this, one of the key things to do is to remember how to spell that person's name and make sure that it's personalized, and whatever it is. So at this point you get so many characters. You can see you get 300 characters. So you need to make this initial invitation short and to the point. At this point, I would never, ever, ever sell anything. Never, because people just hate it. And also, I'm sure you've all had connections where people have connected to you, and then the 2 seconds later sent you a message saying, "Hi, would you like some timeshare in Las Vegas?" 2 seconds later, and it's an immediate turn off. And sometimes I can even detect people who I think, as soon as I press I'm gonna accept your your connection, I know that they're going to send me a message straight away. I seem to have got a bit of a sixth sense of that now. So never ever try and sell. Be a nice soft thing. If you've done a little bit of research, you could say, "Hi, I'm connected to somebody else that you're connected to, so we might have a mutual connection. They may have done a great piece of work lately. You might spot that they like playing golf, or they're into tiddlywinks or whatever." But treat this like the same kind of situation as you first meet somebody. You would never meet somebody in a bar, run up to them and go, "Hi, will you marry me and spend the rest of your life with me?" You would never do that. So why would you do that on LinkedIn or any other social media. So if you're making an introduction, just make it a normal human introduction and go that far and do it that way. So I'm not going to invite Leslie at this point, but now I know she exists, I may well do later. So I'm just going to cancel that. So using this search is a really, really good way of finding the people who you need to connect to. And I'm now going to go on to why you might want to connect to these people and use that to be able to build up your business page's following. So I'm now going to go to our business page, Marketing Optimist. There it is, the Marketing Optimist. So this is the Marketing Optimist business page. Now this works in the same kind of way as your standard page. So you can see you've got more information at the side here about the analytics. And I'm at the minute logged in as an administrator on that. And you can tell that there because it says admin view. If I click on this button here, the view as member, then it will take me to kind of what members can see. So what normal users can see. In here, what I need to do is I need to connect to people. The reason why I said to connect to people who I'm related to is because there's now a nice little tool in here where if you're an administrator, up here where it says admin tools, where I can click, and this is really, really new, and it says invite connections. So by clicking on invite connections, it now shows all my connections, and I can click and I can invite those people to follow my business page. So by doing that, I can connect, I can increase the number of people who are following me, following not me personally, but are following my business page. And by getting more people to follow my business page, then I will get increased views and visitors on that page. So I'm just going to go through and click a few more. These are all people I know, so it's all okay. Now, when this first came out, this was kind of in test for a while. And at the time, you could only invite 50 people. But now they've rolled it out and it should be available to everybody. They've rolled this out so that you can, but they've limited it so you can now only invite 25 connections to your page in any 24-hour period. And after that point, you have to kind of wait a day and then you can invite more people. But the reason that ties into connecting to people who are professionally in the right area is that once you've connected to them, that's the only way that you can use the invite tool. So if you're trying to build up if you're trying to get more marketing managers to, in our case, more marketing managers to follow the Marketing Optimist page, I need to make sure that I'm connected to them and then invite those people. So if I'm connected to another agency, for example, who I'm not really bothered about following the business page, I don't bother inviting them. Or if I've got personal connections who are teachers, for example, who are unlikely to use my services, then why would I bother inviting them to the page? Because it's not relevant to them. Okay. I'm now going to just show you a little bit about business pages and kind of how they work and the kind of information that you can get from your business page. One of the key things that you used to be able to do on LinkedIn business page is you used to be able to see the people who were the actual people who were following the page. Due to GDPR, you can't do that anymore. However, you can see some information. So if you go to your business page and you can see, as long as you're logged in admin view, you'll be able to see these tools up at the top here. So you can see analytics, and in here, if I click on visitors, I can see, first of all, how many page views the page has had, how many unique visitors the page has had, and how many people have clicked on the custom link, which is the link to my website. I can then see the visitor metrics. It's broken down by mobile and desktop. If I click this button, it just kind of sticks them all into one lump. I can change the time frame, so I can check kind of whenever they've been on over the last 12 months. I can see which part of the LinkedIn profile they've viewed, and I can check different metrics, so page views or unique visitors. So I can start to build up information. By scrolling down, I can start to see what my visitor demographics are. So I can see that most of my visitors in the last period seem to be marketers or business development, HR, sales. And so I can start to build up who my followers are without actually having the direct information. It seems to jump to me there, sorry. So at the minute, if I click on this job function, I can see job function, which I'm viewing now. I can see location, so I can see where they are. Unsurprisingly, most of my followers are in Leeds. I can see their seniority, so I've got so to ensure that it matches this kind of demographic that I'm looking for. So I am looking for seniors and decision makers to obviously to use my services. If you're training or your partner, you're probably not in the position, or entry, you're probably not in the position to be able to purchase something from me. I can see what industry they're in. Unsurprisingly, they're all in marketing. That's not a surprise, but I've got some in e-learning and computer software and design and hospital and healthcare, construction. And I can see that the average company size. So actually the average company size probably ties quite nicely to the demographic I'm looking for, which is SMEs. So we're looking between 2 and 50 employees. So actually I've got a good percentage. So this is actually telling me that the content on our business page is actually hitting the right people. The next element is looking at the updates. So of all the posts that have gone on our site, we can see the impressions and how they're working. And this must be this is obviously a one that Chris posted today, so that's only just gone on. That's why there's no numbers against that one. But now I can start to see what content that we're posting that we're getting a good reaction on. So let's just go back and look at this one. So we're not in the office with a sofa. I think Chris posted that one. So maybe sorry, Sophie's put a hand up. Sophie posted that one. But we can see that that's reached 180 people and had 8 clicks through on it, which is a 4.44% click-through rate, which is really good. So from here you can start to see what content you've got and what's gone up and what's getting interaction. So you'll start to see what content you're doing is working. You can start to see how often it should be posted and what kind of things you should post and what's working and what's not. So that's really, really useful. Again, on here, you can look at this top chart and you can look by all sorts of information. So impressions, clicks, which is useful, as we said before, about how many times people are actually clicking on an ad at any one point. Somebody's opened up in the chat. Any tips on increasing click-through? Very good. That's a good question, Laura. Thank you. Oh, this is really cool. I like this. In terms of increasing click-through, I would have said the main thing is to have good engaging copy, and a good image or video. So I think it's something that we talk about a lot about is kind of what kind of image what kind of content you should put up there. And if you're doing lots of sales driven posts, that tends to turn people off. So you need to kind of measure it between intriguing posts that ask different questions, and sales posts as well. Obviously we all want to sell stuff, so don't completely disregard them, but the best balance is between kind of an 80-20 balance between sales posts and promote and informational, educational posts. The whole point is to build you and the business up as kind of experts. People want to work with experts. So keys to this are always adding an image, always making a nice description. Wherever you can see from this post, which is potentially where a lot of you guys came in from. We have linked to Wizard Workspace in that post, which is where we were going to run the masterclasses, and some other things. We linked to LinkedIn on there, and Dan Laver, and other bits and pieces. So linking to people is really key. Also, something that's really key for LinkedIn now is hashtags. So hashtags are quite new to LinkedIn, but they are really, really powerful. The rule of thumb is to use maybe no more than 2 or 3 hashtags. This is not Instagram where you would put 30 up to potentially 30 on. So use hashtags, but use them quite sparingly. And that's a really good way to drive engagement. So if you can tag somebody in, so you're talking about somebody else's business, if you're sharing their post, so you just start a discussion, that's one of the key ways to kind of get interaction. just really briefly, just while I'm touching on hashtags, I'm just going to jump in and show you how to find a great source of hashtags. So if you jump to the search function, and in here you can type your hashtag, the hashtag key, and then we're going to put in, I'm going to put in marketing because it's easy for me to think of. And if I click on that, it's now going to show me the number of people who are following the hashtag marketing, which is 19 million people, which is a lot. And that's kind of useful because that's a really broad term. However, the really interesting point is when you roll over and click on these three buttons here, and if you click on those, you now get a new option, which is discover new hashtags. So it's see recommended hashtags to follow. This is personalized to your own profile, so these will reflect what you normally follow, but it's really useful place to start. So by clicking on that, I'm now presented with a load of other hashtags, some related to marketing strategy, some related to public relations, personalization, outdoor advertising. But I can now see the volumes that are following those, so I can find some really key hashtags that I may not have been aware of before. So I can pick these hashtags, I can follow them to see what comes up from that content in my own feed, but also I can start to add these to my own posts if they're relevant. So you can make a list of hashtags that you can follow and you can add to your own content to increase your engagement, increase your exposure. So that will be a really key kind of takeaway to increase engagement. So we've got another question. Brilliant, thank you, Fadila. That's really nice of you. Thank you very much. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen now, and then I'm gonna, if you would like to ask a question or have a chat, if you want to unmute, actually don't unmute. If you want to just put a message in the side if you want to say something, and I'll unmute you. I'm just trying to work out how best to control all this. So I don't want to be rude. I just want to make sure it all works. Okay. So Fadila said one issue I have is getting new recommendations. Last one's from 2018. Clients happy with my work, and agreed to leave, but never really get around to doing it. Oh wow. Okay. Okay. So any tips to convert their intent into actual recommendations? I think the best tip I could give you there, Fadila, is to give them a recommendation. So people like to be flattered. I'm not sure if you did that or not, but yeah, I would definitely, if you give them a recommendation, that can be a really good way of doing it and kind of going, I really like your work, and maybe after that you could kind of say, would you like to? Because people like to return the favor. So people are really flattered and go, oh, that's great, that's lovely, you give me a lovely recommendation. And then they start to think, well, I'll return the favor. So that's a nice way of getting recommendations. That's a really good question, Fadila. Thank you. Anyone else have a question? Anyone? We all okay? Sure.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I work for a group of schools and I manage the business page, and I'm often sharing quite a bit of different content every day because the schools are giving me different campaigns that we're working on, and I just wonder how many bits of content a day, when does it become too much? I'm sometimes aware that my followers must be like, it must get too much and diluted. So is there a tip for like how much content you should be sharing from a business page a day? Like 2 or I don't know.
I think that's a really good question. It's really easy to think that your content, because you see your content all the time and you're posting it, it's really easy to think that your content is getting boring. It's kind of, well, why would everyone want to see my content? So the first thing is to kind of disassociate yourself from the fact that because you're seeing it, you're thinking everyone else is seeing it, because they're probably not. Not everyone is seeing all your stuff all the time. So there's that to take away. There's also the thing that if you think that your content is getting boring and repetitive, well, it probably is. So make sure that your content is really strong content. So don't put anything out that's weak. Work on it really hard to get it the best it possibly can. If it's not good enough, don't post it. Will be the key thing from there. If you're posting good relevant content at the right time and people are getting interaction with it and it's working. There's not really a golden rule. I mean, I wouldn't post 20, 30 posts a day to your business page, but you can, sometimes if it's relevant, even potentially if there's an interesting development, or you've got lots of different things to say to lots of different audiences, you can probably post 4 or 5 times a day.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah.
You touched on hashtags earlier, and using hashtags to help your content be grouped could be a really good way of getting around that.
Yeah, that was really helpful, that hashtag information. So yeah, thank you.
No problem. So it just feels like I just feel like a TV program. I've got a question from Lynn. I already post quite a lot to other people's stuff rather than sales, but I can't see that there is much of a pattern of engagement for the different types of content. Stuff I expect to go down well doesn't, and stuff I don't expect to gets more views. I'm a bit mystified, frankly. Also, I don't post every day, should I? Again, kind of the same point, Lynn. Don't post every day just for the sake of it. I think you're better off posting less often but better quality. As to what works, it's a case of trial and error, and I think if you can keep a track of what it is that you're posting and track of what works and what doesn't work, then post that you will soon start to learn what works for your audience and what doesn't. There's no golden rule of what will work and what won't, and basically because it's down to individual audiences, just as there's no golden rule to what time works for what audience, because for some people it will work. I post at the weekends sometimes and it works really, really well for me. For other businesses that won't work at all. Some businesses, their audience are online at midday, and some audiences they're not. So you have to work out your own plan. There's no silver bullet. If anyone tells you there's a secret formula, then they're lying. Any more questions? If you want to unmute and ask a question, that's great.
I was just thinking, recently, obviously, because of the current situation and more people working from home and things, that whole there being peak times to post and that sort of thing. Can you imagine it sort of drastically changing with the people obviously having a bit of more flexibility to like their working hours or whatnot? Do you think those kind of things would change anywhere from what you may have already been used to?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think a lot of the time we would have suggested to post content during rush hour, so on commutes and things like that, and at lunch times when people have got more of a break. I think at the moment people are a little with the current situation. I think a lot of people are still a little bit confused, and they're still in shock, and they're still in kind of work mode. So I think a lot of people's minds still work the same way so far.
Okay.
However, I am seeing a change with people being more active online more often, because people are at home now, and some people, unfortunately, haven't got as much work to do as they previously did. So I think people are online. People are searching for jobs. People are searching for new employees. So people are still recruiting. People are looking for new suppliers, and they're using that kind of downtime, or some of their downtime that they may be having, to refresh the business. So actually, I think the times where people were on and were off, I think are blurring a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it's still, I mean, it's still early to tell, but I have a feeling that things are going to change quite a lot. I know for one of our clients, Sophie, one of our clients is big on Instagram, and we've been doing lots of posts in the evening because that's when the audience was online. With the changing things, potentially we're starting to see more people who are online on Instagram during the day where they weren't there as much before.
Yeah.
It will change. This whole situation will change lots of things, not least the fact that we're having a video call, which we probably might not have had 2 weeks ago.
True. I suppose it's just keeping agile and flexible with it all, isn't it, really?
Yeah, keeping an eye on what's happening. If you can record what you're posting at all, so you're aware of what you've done and when you've done that, so that you can react and remember what worked and what didn't.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have a question? No. Okay. Well, thank you very much, guys. I have been recording this session, so hopefully I didn't swear, and I know you guys didn't. So I will once the recording is completed, I'll edit down the front and the end bit, and I'll be posting this on the Marketing Optimists website, and we'll share it on social media. So if you need to catch up on it again, it'll all be there. So yeah, well, thanks everyone for coming on. I am doing another webinar next Friday, and once I have all the details, I'll share all those out. So thanks again, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
worries.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.